It's a Tuesday. You've got $11 in your checking account and payday is Friday. Your gas light's been on since this morning, the dog needs food, and you're doing that thing where you open your banking app, stare at the number, close it, and then open it again 90 seconds later, like it might have changed. And here's the part nobody talks about. In that exact moment, when you have the least money, that is precisely when the system reaches into your pocket and takes even more. If that's ever been you, I need you to stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to see your own bank statement completely differently. My name is Tom, and I spend way too much time thinking about the hidden ways the financial system charges you extra for not having much money. If you're someone who has ever watched your balance hit single digits before payday and felt that little jolt of panic, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Okay, here's the thing. We all grow up with this idea that money problems are basically a math problem. You don't have enough, so you need to earn more or spend less. Simple. And look, that's part of it. But it leaves out something kind of sinister. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Being broke is expensive. Not broke feels bad. I mean, it literally costs more money to be poor than it costs to be comfortable. Economists actually have a name for this. It's called the poverty premium. The extra amount lower-income people pay for the exact same goods and services that wealthier people get cheaper. And today I'm going to walk you through the 7 specific fees that make up that premium, with real numbers, because here's what most people don't realize. Most of these are completely avoidable once you know they exist. The whole game depends on you not noticing. Let's start with the most famous one. Number 1, the overdraft fee. You spend money you don't quite have, the bank covers it, and then they charge you for the privilege. Now, the average overdraft fee right now is about $27, according to Bankrate's 2025 study, though plenty of big banks still charge $35. But here's the math that should make you genuinely angry. The CFPB found that most debit card overdrafts are for less than $26, and they get paid back within 3 days. So think about what that actually is. The bank fronts you $26 for 3 days and charges you a $27 fee. If you put an annual percentage rate on that, the way you would on any loan, it works out to the equivalent of over 16,000%. A payday lender would blush at that, and it's not rare. Around 23 million American households pay overdraft fees every year, and the people paying them are not who you'd think. The CFPB found that 9% of accounts generate 79% of all overdraft revenue, and that those heavy-hit accounts have a median balance under $350. Read that again. The people getting charged the most are the people with the least. That's not a bug. That's the business model. In 2025 alone, banks and credit unions pulled in over $12 billion from overdraft and related fees. Now you might be thinking, Tom, wasn't there a rule that was supposed to fix this? Great memory. There was. The CFPB finalized a rule in late 2024 that would have capped these at $5 and saved households around $5 billion a year. It was supposed to take effect in October of 2025, and then Congress overturned it before it ever started. So here we are. Number 2, the fee for not having enough money. I'm serious. This is the monthly maintenance fee, and it is the purest expression of the whole problem. Tons of standard checking accounts charge you somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 to $15 a month just to exist, unless you keep a minimum balance, often something like $500 or $1,500, or you have a big enough direct deposit. So sit with the logic there. If you have plenty of money sitting in the account, the fee is waived. You pay nothing. But if your balance is low, if you're living closer to the edge, you get charged. The fee is triggered by being broke. Call it $12 a month. That's $144 a year, taken from the people who can least afford it for the crime of not keeping a cushion they don't have. Wealthy people quite literally never even see this fee. It's invisible to them. It's a tax that only the struggling pay. Number 3, the ATM fee. This one feels tiny, which is exactly why it works. The average out-of-network ATM withdrawal now costs $4.86. That's an all-time high according to Bankrate's 2025 numbers. And that's actually 2 fees stacked. Your own bank charges you about $1.64 and the machine's owner charges another $3.22. It's $5, Tom, who cares? Here's who cares. If you're someone who deals mostly in cash, and lower-income households are far more likely to, and you hit an out-of-network ATM just once a week, that's about $253 a year. Gone. And here's the part that ties it back to the theme. Wealthier neighborhoods are saturated with in-network ATMs and bank branches. Lower-income neighborhoods often aren't. It's something researchers literally call a banking desert. So the people with the least access end up paying the surcharge just to touch their own money. Number 4. Check cashing and the cost of being unbanked. According to the FDIC's 2023 survey, about 4.2% of US households, that's roughly 5.6 million households, don't have a bank account at all. They're unbanked. Another 14% are underbanked, meaning they have an account but still rely on these alternative services. And often it's not by choice. It's because overdraft and maintenance fees burned them so badly they gave up on banks entirely. Which, I want to point out, means the fees from the first two items create the customers for this one. So, how do you cash a paycheck with no bank account? A check cashing store. And they charge a percentage, typically 1 to 5% of the check. Let's say you make $40,000 a year and you pay 3% to cash your checks. That's $1,200 a year, just to access money you already earned. Over a working life, that's tens of thousands of dollars paid out for nothing more than the lack of a free checking account. This is where it gets really interesting, because notice the pattern forming. Each fee pushes you toward the next, more expensive option, which brings us to the big one. Number 5. The payday loan. Rent's due, you're $200 short, and your credit's not good enough for a normal loan or a credit card. So you walk into a payday lender. They give you the cash, you write them a post-dated check, easy. The typical fee is about $15 per $100 borrowed for a 2-week loan. Doesn't sound insane, right? $15. Except, annualize it. And the law actually requires them to disclose this. And the average payday loan carries an APR of around 391%. Some single payment loans in certain states run over 500 and 600%. And here's the trap, the part that's genuinely engineered. Most people can't pay back the full $200 plus the fee in 2 weeks, because if they had a spare $215, they wouldn't have needed the loan in the first place. So they roll it over, pay another $15, and again. The CFPB found that 75% of payday loan fees come from borrowers who take out more than 10 loans a year. The entire industry runs on people who get stuck. It's not designed for the emergency. It's designed for the cycle. Let me give you a relatable picture. Imagine a friend lends you $20 for lunch, and then every 2 weeks until you pay it back, they demand $3, forever. You'd stop being friends. But because it's a storefront with a logo and fluorescent lights, we call it a financial service. Number 6. The credit score tax. This one is the most invisible of all, and arguably the most expensive. Here's how it works. When your credit score is low, which, surprise, is strongly correlated with having struggled financially, you pay higher interest rates on everything, and it cascades into places you'd never expect. Take a car. 2 people buy the identical $20,000 used car. The person with great credit gets, say, a 6% auto loan. The person with poor credit, what lenders call subprime or deep subprime, might get charged 18, 19, 20% or more. Over a 5 or 6 year loan, that difference can easily be $5,000 or $6,000 in extra interest. Same car. The only difference is one buyer had already been through some financial hardship. And it doesn't stop at loans. In most US states, insurance companies use something called a credit-based insurance score to set your car insurance premium. Studies, including from Consumer Reports, have found that drivers with poor credit can pay roughly double what drivers with excellent credit pay for the same coverage, the same car, the same clean driving record. You could be a perfect driver who's never had an accident and still pay hundreds more a year purely because your credit took a hit. So the financial system charges you a premium for having previously struggled financially, which of course makes it harder to stop struggling, That's the loop. And number 7, the one that ties it all together, the can't pay all at once tax. There's a famous idea from a Terry Pratchett novel, and economists love it because it's just true. It's sometimes called the boots theory. It goes like this. A rich man buys one pair of $50 boots that last 10 years. A poor man can only afford $10 boots, but they fall apart every year, so over that same decade, he spends $100 on boots. And his feet are wet the whole time. The poor man pays more to be worse off, because he couldn't afford the better option up front. That principle is everywhere once you look. You pay your car insurance monthly instead of in one annual lump, and most insurers tack on installment fees. So the person who can't front the full premium pays more for the identical policy. You buy the small bottle of laundry detergent because the giant value size costs more in one go, even though it's cheaper per ounce. So you pay a higher unit price for being able to afford less at once. You pay a late fee on a bill because the money came 3 days after the due date. You buy furniture rent to own and pay 2 or 3 times the sticker price by the end. Every single one of these is the same machine. The premium isn't for a worse product. It's for the inability to pay everything up front. You are being charged over and over simply for being broke. So, deep breath. Let me tell you a quick story because I don't want you walking away from this just angry. Anger doesn't fix your balance. A while back, someone I know, let's call her Maria, was getting absolutely shredded by this stuff. 2 or 3 overdrafts a month, check cashing fees because she'd closed her bank account in frustration, the occasional payday loan to bridge to Friday, and when she actually added it up over a year, it was somewhere north of $1,500 in pure fees. $1,500 she earned and never got to keep. That's a used car. That's a month's rent. That was sitting right there, hidden in plain sight on her statements the whole time. Here's what she did, and here's what you can do, because this is the actionable part. Write it down. Step 1. Open a genuinely free checking account. They exist, and they're good now. Look for accounts with no monthly maintenance fee and no minimum balance. A lot of online banks and many credit unions offer exactly this. The bank-on certified accounts are specifically built to have no overdraft fees at all. This single move kills fees number 1 and number 2. Step 2. Turn off overdraft coverage on debit card purchases. You have the legal right to opt out, and most people never realize they opted in. When you opt out, a transaction that would overdraw your account just gets declined, which is mildly embarrassing for about 4 seconds and saves you $27. That's the best trade you'll ever make. Step 3. Get a tiny buffer in place. And I mean tiny. Most overdraft damage happens in the gap of a single day or two before a paycheck lands. Even a $100 cushion you refuse to touch breaks that cycle. Automate $5 or $10 a week into it until it's there. This is the wall that stops fees 1, 5, and 7. Step 4. Find your in-network ATMs once on a map and use them on purpose. Or switch to a bank that reimburses out-of-network fees. A bunch of them do now. That's $250 a year back in your pocket for 30 seconds of setup. Step 5. Attack the credit score, because it's the master key. Even moving from poor to fair can knock real money off your car loan and, in most states, your insurance. Pay one bill on autopay so it's never late. Keep your credit card balances low relative to the limit and let time do the rest. It's slow, but it's the highest paying work you'll ever do because it lowers the price of everything. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds like it's blaming me for being poor. It's not. I want to be really clear about that. None of this is a character flaw. The system is built to extract from people at the bottom, and that is genuinely unfair, and most of these fees shouldn't be legal. But here's the thing I always come back to. You can be angry at the game and still refuse to lose it. You don't have to wait for Congress to fix the overdraft rule. You can opt out this afternoon. You can close the check cashing chapter this week. You can stop feeding the machine before anyone passes a single law. Because here's what most people never realize, and this is the part I really want you to keep. The poverty premium isn't just taking money from you today, it's taking your escape velocity. That $1,500 a year in fees. Invested instead, even modestly, that's the down payment on a different life in a decade. The fees don't just keep you poor, they keep you poor on purpose by skimming exactly the money that would have gotten you out. So, the most radical financial thing you can do isn't earning more. Not yet. It's plugging the holes in the bucket you already have. Every one of these 7 fees is a hole. And you now know where all 7 of them are. If this opened your eyes even a little, do me a favor. Hit that like button, because it genuinely helps this video reach the people who need it most, the ones staring at $11 on a Tuesday. Subscribe if you want more videos that show you the stuff the financial world really, really hopes you never notice. And drop a comment telling me which of these 7 hit closest to home. I read them, and I might build the next video around the one that comes up the most. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.